morning, students and teachers. First, I want to do a survey. If you interact with artificial intelligence at least once a week, please raise your hand. It's really popular among students and teachers in our school because it helps us a lot, right? But a few years ago, we couldn't even imagine a program would be able to do a lot of stuff for us. So, isn't it evolved at lightning speed and seamlessly woven into our everyday routines? And isn't it replacing human beings in many fields, such as accountants? We rely on AI much more in our daily lives. So, let's be the man who codes AI so we can keep our value and our jobs. But in an era where code and code is non-syntax long, surely enough to stand out. I started to learn programming when I was in grade 3. At that time, most of my peers either did plenty of physical activities or learned math. But I just sat in front of my table, typing commands and grabbing my hair. A few months ago, I felt extremely disappointed when I was programming a Minecraft plugin for my server. I faced with more than 100 errors and warnings on the screen that I wanted to delete all the code and write it again. It was like you handed in your homework with confidence to a teacher, but your teacher returns it with many red crosses. Soon, I sent it to AI, and amazingly, it corrected all the errors. Suddenly, I thought, why do I have to do this? I spend hours a day on something that can be done by AI. And what's the meaning of programming if it can be done by just a program? Let's find out the answer by taking a brief journey into coding. In the 1940s, computer scientists invented punch cards, literally cards with dozens of holes to store programs. At that time, only a few thousand people in the world were able to code with these cards. In addition, people were basically blind, and they didn't have a screen to debug. If they made something wrong, perhaps they had to remake all of them again. In the 50s, they invented assembly language. Assembly programming is just like giving a step-by-step instruction to a robot with great detail, but it's still impossible for ordinary people to handle this skill. Can you understand this? But then, in the 60s and 70s, they invented high-level languages, making coding much easier than before. But it's still so far from our natural languages. But now, believe it or not, everyone here is able to code, not by learning syntax, but by speaking plain English. Can't everyone do that? The threshold is significantly lower than before, and coding means typing in English and clicking some buttons. But coding alone means nothing. Think of Excel as a tool to organize data and handle formulas, or a car as a vehicle to get you from point A to B. Without a skilled driver, they're just machines. That's when I realized I was not mastering programming for the sake of typing syntax. I was learning to tackle problems. Coding is only the surface. What lies beyond coding is where computer science truly begins. As Esther Disha, one of the pioneers of computer science, once said, computer science is no more about computers than astronomy is about telescopes. Indeed, computer science is not necessarily related to coding. But you may argue, isn't computer science truly useless as AI can generate all the solutions, but it's not the whole picture? But you may still argue, these computer science solutions can also be generated by artificial intelligence. But as you mentioned, it's just generation. Let's take a look at this slide. What's this? Does it have anything to do with AI? It's actually a simultaneous equation, but believe it or not, it's just how AI works. Many academic papers describe AI as a matrix transformation machine. In other words, a machine to solve simultaneous equations, just like what we do in math class. But there are billions of parameters and nonce in the simultaneous equations in artificial intelligence. But anyway, it just predicts the next possible character based on huge amount of historical data and your input, rather than actually thinking like human. Please take a look at these icons. Which group is better? And please guess which one was given by AI. Let me tell you the answer. The first one was given by AI, and the second one was from a human being. But what's the difference? If we just focus on single icons, they're all fine. However, if they're divided into two groups, most of people prefer the second one, as the styles are the same, looking better as a whole group. As a designer of a great app, we must consider not only the function, but also the interface. You don't want to use the app with the first group of icons, right? But AI doesn't truly understand this. It just searches these icons on the internet randomly, just like what we do on search engines, and puts them together without considering them as a whole group and our feelings. But why can't AI alone design a great system so there's limits? AI can indeed generate solutions based on historical patterns, but these generated solutions often lack real-world understanding and the nurture of the problems. For example, AI may suggest us to create more warehouses to solve a delivery problem, but it won't consider factors like environmental impacts such as weather or customer satisfaction, which are essential to create a truly effective delivery system. You may know AI-generated solutions can assist global companies like FedEx or Amazon, as we know, but human-designed systems and algorithms are still crucial to adapt to dynamic and multi-factor scenarios. For example, today's map only calculates the best route based on time and distance. But have you thought, what if we don't want narrow roads, as it can lead to incredible traffic jam? With algorithms we learn in computer science, such as distress algorithm, which enable us to get the shortest path between 2 points, we can get our own path and or routes per costume conditions. And will AI consider the priority of a package? Should a package with important commercial contract be given a priority? AI will not do this. But if you're the boss of a global delivery company, you must consider this. As you understand your customers and you understand the significance of such important commercial contract, you may give the package higher priority so it can be delivered faster. So now you understand AI is smarter, faster, and able to code better than ever. But AI doesn't truly understand what problems we face, how to model the world, or what really matters to us. But computer science can teach us how to analyze the problem, design the system, turn our idea to actual solutions, and verify whether it works well or not, with a powerful tool, artificial intelligence, a helper instead of a replacement. So in the era of AI, we shouldn't stop learning computer science. We learn it not despite AI, but because of AI. The future isn't about choosing between humans or machines. It's about empowering humans with machines. And this journey begins with computer science.